Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So as you guys probably know, I didn't win Elon Musk's $1 million offer, but I was kind of excited about that whole ordeal, right? Although it might go against the Constitution that he was offering it, but I had some ideas on how I was going to spend it, and something I want to reflect on. I talked a lot about previous jobs that I've worked at and how I had toxicity there. I got to correct the record a little bit. Yes, those jobs were kind of toxic, but I also dug my own grave in some regards too. I'm going to elaborate about that. I moved to Phoenix a little bit over 2 years ago. And when I first moved here, it's also when I first started my art projects with the Bismuth. You guys remember that, right? I started just before moving here, actually, but I really took off in earnest after moving here. When I first got to Phoenix, I distinctly remember having only a few $1,000s in my savings account, and I used most of that to bankroll the beginning of that art career. And then I would go to work at I was working at a tutoring center, and a lot of times I felt very pigeonholed. It's the holidays, so that's why I'm thinking about this. Last holiday season, a lot of my colleagues didn't want to come, right? I had a colleague who was taking his kids to Disney, and I had another colleague who decided the Saturday shifts didn't work very well with her. And not only did I need those extra hours, but I didn't need to rock the boat, and that it pigeonholed a lot of things. The final straw came when Taylor Swift was performing in Phoenix. It was I want to say February or March of 2023. I'm not a Taylor Swift. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't go to see her, and so it's not like I wanted to take the day off or anything. But what really sucked was that we only had 6 hours of appointments altogether, and I would have so much loved to do something else, right? If I'm only going to be making 6 hours of work, I'm still the opportunity cost of doing those 6 hours is not that much less than if I had a 20, 30, 40 hour week, right? That's the point I wanted to get at, right? But I took it anyway. And something I noticed today, so I teach at a community college now. It's not like nothing ever goes wrong at the community college. Stuff happens there too, right? Colleagues take off. Sometimes the boss has a bad day. All of that can happen still. The difference is that I have money in my bank account and I feel comfortable discussing it. And so what would I do if I won $1 million? Well, I would probably feel a lot more comfortable doing my job the way I want to do it and do it 10 times better, right? That's the point I wanted to get at. And I want to say that at the beginning of my art career, I kind of over leveraged myself a little bit. I mean, I didn't go into debt or anything, but I went into emotional debt with how I handled my working situation. If I had it all over again, I'd probably handle it a little bit differently. I over levered everything, and I created a lot of toxicity at at my job, my first job here at the Phoenix area. I gotta say that. Had I not done that, it could have played out very, very, very differently. I want to say. The other thing I could have done is, well, I guess it is kind of hard to do because uh, they the tutoring center I was working at obviously had a non-compete, right? You couldn't then work for a different tutoring center. I think in theory you were also not allowed to take on private tutoring clients, right? Although it might not be as easy to enforce. Um, and it created a lot of bottlenecks, right? So, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine. I had known her since we were teenagers, and she had mentioned that if her colleague had asked her to, because I told her how I filled in for this one Saturday, and then my colleague decided that I would be available every Saturday without checking with me. And my friend said she would laugh about that concept. Now, it helps that she has a relatively uh, safe job, right, in terms of job security, just given the nature of her work, right? It helps that she has that. But she also doesn't take as many financial risks, right? And also this is something that I despise. She's married and they have two incomes, and see, I often joke that I'm also a two income household, except that I only have 24 hours to provide those two incomes. Other people have 48 hours, and a lot of times, I have two choices to make. Right, either I could have that one income and have a lot of risk and have no room to maneuver, or two incomes and give up a lot of other things in life, right? And or two incomes and also give up a lot of that income because I need to hire outside help, right? Those are my three choices. All of them are inferior, right? Which is why I need to meet that right person. Oh yeah, when I juggle two incomes, it also takes away time to meet that right person to provide that second income. So it's really a no-win situation in all directions, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.